Now, what I didn't discuss in, you remember that video I did talking about, hey, Henry Cavill is no longer going to be Superman. A lot of people feel like that's a loss for fans, and I wouldn't disagree with that. I guess I will reiterate for the sake of this, and people that didn't see that video, that Henry Cavill was one of the last, like, kind of, if you put actor to whatever he's playing, there's a couple of others. There's not that many, not as many in times past, where, you know, there's a nearly unanimous enjoyment of him as an actor playing this character, and that's Superman, one of the most iconic fictional characters of all time. And even if people had issues with some of the movies that he was in, it was generally thought to be that he was okay playing it as Superman. He was decent, more than decent. So people, when it came out, he obviously announced, Henry Cavill was like, hey, you know, I'm not going to be playing this character anymore. And, you know, James Gunn talked about how he, you know, they're going in a younger version. You know, it just doesn't fit. It just goes to show that, well, I already knew Gunn was egotistical, because you kind of got to be, I guess, to be an actor or be a director or be a producer or anything in Hollywood these days. But, you know, we talked about him telling other actors that they shouldn't read books, comic books, because he doesn't want to ruin, like, the direction that he has. So everything is more so about, and what he kind of prides himself in is putting his own spin on whatever exists. And he wants to make sure that shows through. Okay. So him wanting to clean the slate when he got brought on to basically be the Feige of DC, I already knew what time it was. Now, it doesn't surprise me that he would get rid of someone that he is seeming to be liked and enjoyed, which is a really dropped ball there, right? It's like the analogy that I used in that video was talking about sports. Like, if someone's available that is a great player, it doesn't matter if you already have that position filled, you make sure you get them. It's like, what is the price? Right? That's kind of what happens. It doesn't matter. We see this in football. We see this in other football and soccer. I used the Keylor Navas example of, despite him being at the top of his game and being world class, Paris Saint-Germain had an opportunity to get, because he was on the market, to get Donnarumma from Milan, who was younger. And despite playing the same position, you can't play them both at the same time, they went and got him. So now they have two world-class caliber goalkeepers, but they went and got him. Even though they didn't necessarily need him, he's younger, he's better in the sense of, like, where he's at right now and in form, you got to get him. You make it happen. Doesn't matter what your situation is. You make that happen. We've seen this in free agency over basically every single sport, where it's like, well, they already have someone switching that plays that position that's pretty solid. Doesn't matter. He's on the board. We can get him. Let's get him. They handle drafts like that as well. You get him. He's the better available. You get him. Right. So in this case, it's similar in that they just did. Well, it's not similar. It's like, well, they're saying it's like the akin of having a Donnarumma out there. You're very able to get him, very well able to get him, and you say, nah, I'm going this different direction. They didn't want Cavill. But what I neglected to mention, which that's on me, is, and remember, I'm in my office, so like I said, it's going to look a little different for what my usual screen does. Let me see if I can go here. Does this work? Yeah, it does work. So right here, as covered by Variety, which is the hilarious part, Gunn has been at work on the new Superman story for some time. Insiders say the script will focus on the character's life as a cub reporter in the fictional city of Metropolis. Audiences will encounter him meeting characters like colleague Lois Lane. Insiders added, this is the part that I forgot to mention. Additionally, Variety sources said that the new Gunn project will not replace the previously announced J.J. Abrams Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman concept, which is still actively in development. So they're not entirely scrapping anything, and it looks like they're still going to go, and as we reported, that was the whole Black Superman thing. So I don't know if it's going to be Val Zod. I don't know if it's going to be Calvin Ellis. I really don't give a shit. Both of those guys are needless characters like many of the other tokenized characters, those guys specifically. So that's the direction. So despite getting rid of Gunn, or not getting rid of Gunn, excuse me, getting rid of Cavill, they're still going to be moving forward with this character being wrote, or at least being part of the project in Ta-Nehisi Coates that nobody asked for. Nobody asked for him, and nobody certainly asked for the character. But Ta-Nehisi Coates, he's a phenomenon that I don't really understand, I will admit. What I mean by that is that he came out of nowhere. He's a social commentator. And I'm not against anybody being, obviously, because I've done it and I've done multiple things. So just because you talk on politics or social issues does not mean that you can't be a creative. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that he really didn't have any credit to his name regarding this type of work in comic books. Marvel ends up giving him the ability to write two of their most prominent characters in both Black Panther and Captain America. Made no sense. He writes one of the worst versions of Black Panther that we've ever seen. This incoherent mess of an intergalactic Wakanda. Y'all remember that run? Terrible. We used to cover it on the channel. It's dog water. But he's now, you know, you fell up in Hollywood. This is how it works, as well as mainstream anything. And he's going to still be doing this Black Superman, and they very well are going to have it as part of their plans. Now, I don't know if they're as ballsy to basically say that he's going to be the Superman in that main universe that they're building. That's ballsy, and by ballsy, I mean retarded. But he just might do it. We'll see. Wherever you're viewing the content, I appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, you may be interested in my comic book company, Rippaverse Comics. Our first book and campaign, ISOM #1, brought in $3.7 million with tens of thousands of satisfied customers. Visit Rippaverse.com to check out our store and stay up to date with the latest campaigns from one of the hottest new comic book companies. Also, my first big step towards a parallel economy was the development of my personal website, ericdjuly.com. This entirely replaced my Patreon. Now, if you enjoy this content, please consider becoming a member over at the website. We have an ever-expanding list of perks for various membership tiers, a forum, and a phone app. Some of these perks will even benefit you if you're fans of the Rippaverse. Anyway, I appreciate you so much for being a supporter and or customer. I even got a little love for my haters.